You're doing a great job sending out emails. You're doing an amazing job making social media posts, but nobody is seeing what you're putting out there. Hi, I'm Matt Plapp, and I want to talk to you about two major issues right now impacting your sales and honestly the sales of businesses all over the country. And that's the fact that your email open rates suck and your social media is not reaching its intended audience. So let's go ahead and dig right into it here. You know, you spend a lot of time building and cultivating an audience. You grew a great Facebook page. You'd spent a lot of time putting content out there, and 5 to 6 years ago, you had an audience. And even worse, 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, you started with a great effort of building an email database. And now, as the picture shows, nobody's looking at it anymore. They're all gone. Why? Where'd they go, and how can you fix it? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. First, email marketing. Email marketing is not what it was in 1999. Consumers have become numb to an email. Answer this question for me if you're over 35 years old. Do you remember 15 to 20 years ago getting an email and saying, "Oh, I've got an email." And now it's, "Oh, I got 100 emails." Well, as the screen on the left shows, you're not hitting your desired audience. This is actually from one of our clients' dashboards in MailChimp. And as you can see, 12% open rate, 18, 10, 14, 14, 16, 14. It's pretty sad when 18%'s the top. And when you look at the click-through rates, 3%, 4%. Honestly, the only time people click through is typically to unsubscribe or tell you via email reply to take them off. Well, why has email decreased? Why has it declined? What's happened? Well, honestly, number one, it's because of guys like me and businesses like you. You have not done a good job of using the medium. And it's honestly because a lot of us weren't trained on it early on and we didn't build our databases right. But don't worry, I'm going to show you a way to fix that. It also is the fact that your emails don't relate. When I mentioned you're not building the database correctly, it's because you're sending kids eat free emails to the entire audience. You're sending college night emails to 50-year-old people. You're not sending messages that relate. And last but not least, new mediums like Facebook Messenger, which I'm going to show you, is going to blow your mind. And I'm going to end the email with the fact that this client's database on a consistent basis is not talking to 4,000 of their customers every time they send an email. And that's concerning because you've spent a lot of time and effort building this database, and now they're gone. They're not seeing what you're putting out. Social media. So Facebook is an amazing medium. I've loved it since day one. I still love it today. But you know what? It's pay to play. You've got to pay to get a seat at the table. And if you want to have any proof, I'm going to show you two slides here. One in a minute, this one right now. Remember the little orange circle up there on that timeline, and I'm going to show you why that's important. If you look at this client, they've got 4,956 fans as of the time that I took this screenshot on March 2nd, 2019. Their average post on the right before middle December, 700, 600, 900, 900, 700, 700. Not reaching a whole lot of people, 10 to 15% of that audience. And that's happening because people aren't engaging in your page. So Facebook is showing your stuff to less people. I'm going to show you how to fix that as well. So let's talk about how to get huge open rates and how to get your posts with huge reach once again. So let's imagine if we can get back to the good old days. If we could get back to 1999, hop in a DeLorean, go back and get people opening our messages again. Well, you can, but you got to tweak your methods. And let me show you the tale of two journeys. So I want you to imagine both of these lines are email. The top one's email. The bottom one is Facebook Messenger. In both instances, we send 5,000 messages. In traditional email, you get 20% if you're lucky on an open rate, which means 1,000 people opened your email. On Facebook Messenger, the one below, we see 80% open rates, which means 4,000 people see your email, your message in Messenger. You go to the open and engagements. So we've got 1,000 open emails on top. You've got 5% engagement on a good day, which means you've had 50 conversations with customers. Now you go to Messenger, And remember, we've got 4,000 open messages there. We're seeing like 40% to 60%, some cases 80% engagement. But let's just stick with 40%. You've got 1,600 conversations now. Well, let me ask you a question. If on a consistent basis, people that have said to you, your business, please show me your marketing, send me what you're doing. If on a consistent basis, 3,000 more open it and 1,550 more engage in it, what's that going to mean to your bottom line? Well, what it's going to mean is going to be more butts in the seats, more money in the till. Now, let's talk about conversions. And this is something that's probably foreign to you because I'm going to guess you don't actually know what your email marketing is generating revenue-wise. We do in the bottom part of Messenger. We know we can consistently get 10 to 25% depending on the level of the program and the offer of the people converting, which means in this case, 1,600 people had a conversation with us. We can get 10% of those people on a consistent basis to engage and actually walk into the restaurant and spend money. So that means we're going to have 2,000 to 4,000 in trackable sales. So there's a whole game changer right there. And honestly, this open and engagement rate is what email was 20 years ago. But now remember that time I showed you the little orange bubble on the timeline? Well, this is where that comes into play. That orange bubble is when our marketing for this restaurant kicked off. When we launched the ROI Engine program, and you'll see how their post-rock reach rocketed up 30 to 40%. Because what we did was we brought back the attention to this customer's Facebook page. And when we did that, Facebook said, oh, okay, more people are looking at this page. Let's show it to more of their fans. And as you can see, there's only one post. The lowest post is now 900. That was the highest post before. Our highest post now is 1,900, and we've got 1,500, 1,300, 1,400, 1,500, 1,300, 1,100. We're reaching 30 to 40% of the audience now versus what we were reaching before. So what is this magic wand that we waved over top of this client's marketing to get 3,000 to 4,000 more conversations and messages and huge reach on Facebook? Well, it's what I've developed called the ROI Engine. And the ROI Engine is a program that has 3 components. Number 1, it's digital. Number 2, it's trackable. And the third most important part is it's redeemable, because the redeemable and trackable aspect allow us to understand that the exposure and database that we're getting is actually worth it. So the 4 things I'm going to show you here real quick are how we gain exposure, how we grow an engaged database, how we put butts in your seats, and how we show you what we're doing with our ROI dashboard. So let's talk about exposure. This is a question I know the answer to, so I don't expect you to think I'm serious, but when was the last time you had a Facebook post that got 4,800 comments in 4 months? Next one, the brewery company down here. In a couple months' time, 4,000 comments. And then in a few short months, here's a milkshake one, actually 1 month, that got 824 comments. I know the answer. You haven't. Most people haven't. The only posts, in fact, I've seen get this type of engagement are posts from restaurants running the ROI Engine. Now, this is important because this is what brings the action back to your Facebook page. And not only 1, feeds our program, but 2, helps you, free of charge, bring back the organic reach to your other posts. This is where that little orange bubble was on the timeline. So we use posts like this to open up conversations in Facebook Messenger. And when I showed you that MailChimp dashboard earlier, and you saw the 10, 15, 18% open rates, and you saw the 2 to 5% click-through rates, well, this is what a Facebook Messenger dashboard looks like. So this is comparative. The read rate is what's considered open. And as you see on here, the broadcasts that have messages sent out, the first one was a test with 0 sent. Obviously it's 0. But the rest of them, 88, 84, 97, 92, 94, 95, 99, 98, and 96%. Now, I want to point out something really important here because this goes back to why email marketing has diminished. This client has about a 4,600 person database. Ask yourself, why has none of these messages went to 4,600 people? Why is Matt's team sending a message to 1,400 people, to 2,200 people, to 600, to 700? The reason is we are cherry picking the audience to send them messages that relate to their past inquiry with the business, as well as their past usage. So for example, let's say you've got people that only redeem lunchtime offers, and you've done some surveys in Messenger and you find out that they work near your restaurant but don't live near you. Well, guess what? That's why they're eating lunch there. Don't bother sending them a Friday, Saturday, Sunday dinner promo, because now you're just going to send them something that doesn't relate. Remember the example earlier about Kids Eat Free? Don't send a single 25-year-old a Kids Eat Free. Don't send a married 45-year-old husband with 2 kids a college night promo. Now you're just wasting bandwidth and hurting your audience. That's why these open rates are staying so large, for the simple fact that we're talking to the customer how they want to be talked to. And by the way, the engagement rates or the clicks are on the right. And you'll look at those. Some of those are meant to have engagement. Some of them aren't, which is why they have 0 or in one case 3%. But if you look at the ones that are meant to have engagement, 50%, 50%, 27, 18, 24, 34. The people are paying attention. They are having conversations with us, and we are driving them into the restaurant. Now, let's talk about how all of this puts butts in seats. So the program, the post you saw a minute ago that had 800 comments in a month, the one that had 4,000 in a couple months, what that is doing is helping us through our automation build a Facebook Messenger database, because when they comment for the first time, it drives them into Messenger. And then we use broadcasts like this on the left to drive them back in the restaurant. This broadcast had almost 90% open rates, 47% engagement rate. Over 150 people walked in the restaurant and spent $2,500. When was the last time you saw trackable sales like that? Now, let me give you a quick demo and show you what it looks like when somebody opts into our program from Facebook Messenger. So this automation is triggered through them commenting on a Facebook post. So in this case, they commented on a Facebook post. It comes into Messenger, and it asks them to type the keyword share. The share is the opt-in. It's actually a double opt-in because they've already commented on the post. Then we ask them for their email address, because we actually see pretty good open rates with our emails in this program, but we also want to get a little more buy-in from them and get a second form of communication. Because email still, even with 20 to 30% open rates, still is valid and still does drive some business, just not as much as Messenger. So now what we do is we drive a message into here that is a trackable offer. In this case, a free shareable, an appetizer. They have 2 buttons when they come in the restaurant, when they're working with their server, that they click redeem, and then they enter their net check amount so that we can say this person, Ashley, walked in and spent $20 net on her visit at the Brass Tap. So ask yourself, when was the last time you were able to see a conversation like that you knew the person commented on a Facebook post, opted into Messenger and email, and then walked in your restaurant and spent money? Odds are you've never seen it. And this next part is what's going to really blow your mind. This is our ROI Engine dashboard. We've got 4 components on this. The bottom part, the goal is to show you what you've spent on your program annually. In this case, the client spent around $12,000. What the impact that spend has had on your business, and I'll get to that in a minute. In this case, $148,000. The ROI, obviously your cost and impact combined. So I'm taking my annual impact divided by my cost, 11 to 1, or 11.98, I guess. And acquisition cost $7.14. And I'll get to that in a second as well. So the 3 main components on top are get awareness. Is that we're able to say our social media marketing efforts have gotten us 589,767 impressions. That is of consumers within the immediate distance of this restaurant, of which there's been 14,040 times they engaged in an ad, in an organic post. They took an action, liked, commented, shared, viewed a video. Those actions led to opt-ins. Now, getting awareness isn't important unless you can grow a database off it. My saying that I've used many times in my next book coming out, one of the chapters is, in the last chapter, create your own radio station. What I mean by that is create your own database. And I'm a big proponent of every dollar you spend on marketing should be used not to build sales, but to build a database that drives sales so that you don't have to constantly go back and pay marketing companies to reach their customers again. You need to use your dollar to get their customers into your database. So in this case, we used social media to drive 5,491 people into a database in Facebook Messenger and email. Now, that actually isn't even important if I can't prove those people become customers. So if you look to the far right, you'll see percent of people who visited on first offer, 31.63%. That's where this next line below opt-ins is, 1,737 people. So I now have attribution. I can attribute 31% of the people in that opt-in that walked in the restaurant. I can then also say that 882 return visits come from this. And we're not trying to get restaurants to only do promotions or coupons. This can be for loyalty cards. This can be for contests. This can be for many things. Even a broadcast announcing new menu items, announcing promotions at the restaurant like chef's dinners, or you got Mardi Gras events. It doesn't have to always be about discounting, because when you're getting 80 to 90% open rates, that database is much more valuable. Now, tracked sales, that's almost $40,000 in sales that came from those first few visits. Now remember, we're not only sending offers, so probably 75% of the promotions sent on this client's behalf did not have a trackable offer. So we're not always going to track every single visit. What we are going to do is help them get people in the restaurant, because that is marketing's number one goal. When you hire a company like Driven Media to run the ROI Engine, it is to help you get awareness through advertising that builds a database and that drives customers into the restaurant for that first visit. It is your job through amazing food, service, and atmosphere to get them back for second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and seventh, and eighth, and ninth, and 10th visit, because consumers eat a lot and they love eating out. And you can see the average check, pretty simple what that is. That's their average net check. Now let's talk about annual impact and acquisition cost. The acquisition cost is real simple. It's how much did we spend to get those first time redeems? So in this case, we spent $12,397 with this customer on Facebook, Instagram, and on our program. So $12,397, and we divide that by 1737. That is $7.13, $7.14 rounded up. So every time they spend $7.14 in this program, it drives a person in for the first visit in the program. That's pretty impressive, because they have no more cost after that, because the customer's already in the program, and our program cost is strictly to get you people into the program. We don't charge you for the monthly broadcasts. So now that customer's free for the rest of the time, and that's where the annual impact comes in. We do a survey of our clients when we onboard them to find out, if I get a person like Matt Plapp onto your database who comes into your restaurant but doesn't come frequently, or maybe he comes frequently, or maybe he rarely comes, what is it worth? How many visits can we get out of them now that we can be aware? We can be in front of them more often. And then what if I get a new customer, and how often will they come in as a new customer? This client's response was 6 times. So we're looking at this and saying, okay, if we're able to activate 31% of this audience 6 times at $14.92, that is an annual impact of $148,000 in sales. Okay, so let's say, Matt, you're wrong. I think 148 is high. Okay, fair enough. What if it's only 75,000? So would you be happy spending $12,000 to reach 589,000 impressions, 14,000 engagements, a database of 5,400 that you own, that brought in 75 grand annually? I think it probably would be. So that's what the ROI Engine is. It is a program that helps you gain huge exposure, grow a great engaged database, and drive trackable metrics into your business. So let's talk about the program options. And I'm just going to show you one of the options, because we've got many, but our program is pretty affordable. It starts off with an organic package that a lot of our clients like. It's $297 a month, and it includes an 8-step organic program that we have that drives people into the program, weekly program posts on your social media to drive people into the program, our opt-in offer, what I showed you there, the person redeemed, a monthly broadcast, what I showed you that got 98% open rates and drove 2,500 in sales, the automation that's behind all of this, in-store graphics, staff training, and then we have a startup fee of $250 to get the program built out. What do we need from you? Access to your current email and text list, access to your social media. We have a program called the Website Takeover. Sounds a little crazy, but it's actually not a takeover. It is a option of us putting a mask over your website, so when people come in for the first time, they can opt into the program, so we get some great traffic into it. And then, of course, in-store display space. And the one caveat is our program goes up $75 every time we hit metrics of 1,500 contacts, because we are using database-driven programs that have subscription limits. In the organic program, that 1,500 is going to come somewhere between month 3 to 5. But it's a good thing. When we grow 1,500 contacts, that means we grow a couple hundred who are walking in your restaurant, which means you grew your sales. So that's what the ROI Engine is all about. That's what we aim to help you with. You've lost your email open rates. You've lost your social media attention. We want to help you get it back, and we want to help you do it with the ROI Engine. I appreciate you spending some time with me. Please reach out to us with any questions. Matt@mattplapp.com. You can hit us up on Facebook, LinkedIn. I want to help you put more butts in the seats and make sure that somebody is seeing the content you're putting out.